Hi guys. Today I'd like to talk about a little thing I've been thinking about for a long time, and it's basically what kind of tends to separate all humans from each other, and it's something that generally is used in a format to make separation acceptable, and it's definition. So like I came up with this little string of phrases, and we put it up on Facebook, and there was a nice reaction to it. Um, but it just started off the first sentence being definition creates separation. Um, I'm involved in martial arts, and the martial arts are many and varied. There's different types of martial arts depending on different body sizes and different ways of fighting, and all different ways to actually do different parts of fighting. And what many martial arts have done is so as to define themselves, to separate themselves from the other guys, so that they have something unique to give to people, and so that people then kind of will gradually start going to the one they prefer, and that's fine. But what happens then in a lot of cases is in these martial arts groups is that you're told that you should not go seeking information from the others because they're different to you. They're not as good as you. They don't know what they're doing, and you'll never learn anything properly from these people. What basically what that is they're trying to control you and to make sure that you stay with them and that you give them all your time and effort, and all your money. Now it's pretty. I can understand the idea behind it, and I can appreciate the marketing side of it, but that can be used as well in all different aspects of humanity. You get people from one religion saying that about another religion. You'll get people from one skin color, saying about people from with another skin color. You'll get people saying it from one ethnicity about somebody from another ethnicity. It doesn't matter what it is. All those things are labels and titles, created to separate each other, so that you don't learn from these other point of view. A lot of times, the idea is to keep the general populace in a state of dumbness, so that they will not ever realize that they're being kept in that state of unawareness, that they won't seek to see things beyond the scope of what they have in their lives. So when somebody defines somebody else or defines themselves, they're separating themselves from others. That separation then can create a fear. So because you're told that you shouldn't be with this other person, that you shouldn't speak to this other person, then you're going to have a fear built into your subconscious about being around that person. This fear then follows on into ignorance, because ignorance is something that you have a lack of knowledge of. So when you have a lack of knowledge, you're never going to break through that problem, or create a knowledge without actually getting involved with the thing that you need to learn about. So if you're afraid of people from a certain country or from a certain part of town that you have believed is not a great place, or the people from that area aren't brilliant to be with, or they have a different idea on life and you shouldn't interact with those people, then you're not going to actually realize that meeting people from those areas is going to be a good thing for you, that they're not all like that, and that generalizations do really put labels on people that shouldn't really be there, unless you actually go out and you break that ignorance by interacting with other people. Because what will happen is that ignorance will turn into hatred, and for some unknown reason, just because somebody said that you are white and they are black, just taking that simple definition, you will lead from the definition can lead to hatred in just a few steps. The way I've seen this being used, it really annoys me and it really ticks me off. Um, as I said, I first kind of noticed it in the martial arts world, and it can be even in one style. I practice Taekwondo, and even in Taekwondo, there's different schools of thought and what Taekwondo is, and different instructors will have different ideas, but they'll transfer over these ideas onto their students, and because the instructors have given a definition, then they separate and they propagate a separation from the others, the other guys that are doing this style of Taekwondo, or it could be in karate, it doesn't matter what it is. You pick it, and it can be on anything. It can be in tennis, it can be in badminton, it can be in basketball. It doesn't matter what it is, whatever sport you're doing, swimming, it doesn't matter. There's always going to be somebody trying to define, so that they'll stop you going towards learning from somebody else. And when you have people who are trusting in you and they're listening to information, and you're telling them that they shouldn't be interacting with these other people because they don't fit in the same box as us, then for some unknown reason, these other people that are trusting you, they will take on the idea of separation, the idea of fear, the idea that they'll become ignorant of the other people because they'll never want to learn from them, and they'll never realize the potential that they could get from those people, and then it's just turned into hatred. I've heard many times I don't like this style of martial arts because I prefer my style. I don't like this other style. It's not as good. It's not as good. It's just that you happen to start off in whatever style you started in. It doesn't matter what you're doing at the moment, whatever field you're doing at work at the moment, or whatever it is that you do that you enjoy, or whatever. You can pick anything at all. You insert whatever it is that you do in there, and it will work, and you'll see the same correspondence going along, whatever it is. And what happens then is that this perpetuates, and in martial arts terms, I've seen instructors, students, who then become instructors themselves, and then they'll pass on that whole hatred, that whole ignorance, that whole idea of separation onto the next wave of people, and then you get kind of like a cultish idea of that you're elite, that because you're part of this defined group, you're elite. Now I must say, if you're trying to make your life into a better place for yourself, excuse me, and you're looking to bring yourself up out of a certain situation. Maybe you were in a circle of people that aren't really great for you, and you need to be in a better place. Then you need to separate yourself from them. You need to define them, and then kind of, okay, I'm going to still, if you can still be friends with them, you can still talk with them, but you're not going to maybe interact so much, because you've really learned a lot about these people already, because you've been in that world. There's nothing wrong with you stepping outside your world. If you're living in a world that's holding you back, that's holding you down, and keeping you from succeeding and thriving, then there's absolutely no problem with moving on from that world. But because you've already been in that. What I'm talking about here is about people that will not go and experience new things because they've been told, or they've been conditioned into thinking that this outside of this world that they're living in isn't worth looking at. It's not worth going over there to see that. It's not worth going to that course to do that course. It's not worth going to that part of the world. If you want to do something, you do it. You think something's interesting, you do it. So I have another idea. The way to flip this on the head, you accept things. When people talk to you and they tell you stuff, accept it at face value first. Don't switch off. An awful lot of people can be very suspicious of stuff without really looking into behind the facts. If anybody that comes out with something that's different and new, a lot of people can just say, oh well, sure, who's this guy? Alright, like, yeah, sure, he's just Paul. Yeah, sure, I know Paul. What does he know? Just taking myself as an example. And when you accept things, then you'll accept people's stories for what they are, because they are that's their reality. They're talking to you in terms of their reality. So when you accept people's stories for face value, you create unity, because then more people will want those people will want to interact with you more. So you'll learn more about them, and maybe you'll find out that their stories. So when you have that unity, and people are showing more of themselves to you, you learn more from them, and you learn stuff that you could have never have learned if you had not, first accepted them, accepted their life. When you have unity like that, then you become very brave. You'll feel that that you have the freedom to go out and learn more. You can go whatever you can do whatever you want. You realize you can go wherever you want. You can learn from anybody. You don't need anyone's permission. A lot of people are afraid to go and do something because somebody has told them that they should not do these things, or they should get acceptance from a higher power in some kind of way to do the things that they want to do. And when you're doing the things that you want to do, and you're going to the places that you want to go, and you're doing the courses, or you're learning the things you want to learn, then that's just going to naturally create knowledge. You're going to know about things that you could never have learned before. You're going to know about things that your peers, your parents, your family, the things that they would have never had the neck to go and do before. So just from changing a small little thing, we learn so much. And when we learn so much, and we learn about everything in the world, and we're doing all the things we want to do, then we start to love life. We start to love life. We start to love ourselves. You can hate yourself because of the definition that has been put upon you. But when you break that definition off, and when you realize that that we all have a connection, and that we're all a part of the human race. We are all individuals, absolutely. But we also have something to teach each other about life, because life is life. Everybody generally lives their life, and stuff's going to happen to other people that's going to be similar to what's happened to you. And if it hasn't happened to you yet, then it may do. And so everybody can teach you something about life. Being in different parts of the world will teach you something about life. When you change your perspective to see what happens to other people's lives, then what's happening in your life can have much more meaning. Instead of just meandering around, kind of generally just existing, you have an appreciation for what's actually happening in your life, and then you can take hold of it and you can change it, because you love to live now. You love your family. You love what you have, because you'll appreciate it more, because you've looked outside your own life. You've looked outside your definition, and you've seen that maybe you have a lot more than what you thought you had. Maybe you have a lot more potential than what you thought you had, but you'd have never made those realizations and those discoveries until you accepted other people's stories, that you joined with these other people freely. You united with them. You were brave enough then to grow more, and to listen more, to learn more. And then you learned from so many people, no matter where it was, who it was, or what it was, and loved life. Thanks very much for listening, guys. Talk again soon.